Hi, welcome to the McKee Guitars custom acoustic build again here. We got the neck, now we got the inlay in, we got the fingerboard glued on, and now it's time to shape it. Now there's a lot less wood here than what you saw in the last video, of course. We had a lot of wood sticking out here, just one continuous, almost like a block with the profile cut into it. What I did was I took the spindle sander over here and trimmed a lot of that off closer to the fingerboard. I still have a little bit overhanging the edge of the fingerboard, and then you can see that I took the heel into a taper here with the belt sander here. And the way you carve a neck is first you start with the heel, kind of get a shape to the heel, and then you come in here in the throat and shape that, and then you kind of just work your way to the middle, kind of shape this part last, and then do any touch up and refinement you need to do on the heel and the neck, and then just check your contours here and make sure they're all right. So you first start with the heel, throat, and then the rest of the neck. You're blending the neck into the throat and the heel, if that makes any sense. So I draw my heel shape on there. Now usually you can make like a little plexiglass template and lay it on there and trace it out, but I have not made one guitar the same. Every guitar has been different, and so I hand draw all my heel shapes on there. Now whether that's proper or not to do, that's a big debate, and it really doesn't matter as long as it looks good. So I kind of freehand draw, and really I change shapes of my heels. This one here, kind of the more traditional pointed one, I do mostly. You can have more of a flatter one that's a little bit broader. There's a bunch of different ones you can do, but everything is custom, and not one single guitar that I've made has been exactly the same as the other one. So kind of keeps it not, looking like every guitar is stamped out the same. Each guitar has its own little personality, I guess you can say. So what I do is I put in this just a simple jig that you can make to hold the neck, so I can use both hands. It's a lot easier that way. I can clamp it in my vise. I can move this around to here so I can work on it. Makes it very nice and easy. I can get to every part of the neck. So the tools I use for shaping the neck are pretty basic hand tools. A lot of companies have the luxurious CNC machine, and you don't have to have a whole lot of talent to shape a neck, because the machine pretty much does all the work for you. This is more of an art. You're actually I hand carve every single one of my necks. I take them from the block of wood, cut two neck shapes out of them, and do everything by hand. So I take my chisel, and I use a good Japanese chisel that's they fold a bunch of layers over. It's laminated steel. They hold the edge very well. It's a high carbon steel, and you always want your chisels really sharp. You want to be sharp enough to shave with. You do much better work that way. Less likely slipping like I have before and cut myself and bled all over the place. So what I do is I take the chisel and I start basically carving my neck. And the heel here kind of gets a little tough to shape. And the other way you can do it is take a rasp and shape it. I like to kind of get that chisel in there and start removing material with the chisel. In my opinion, it's a little bit faster. Next, what I'll do once I kind of get a rough shape to it a little bit, I'm just using the chisel to take the big chunks off, and you gotta be careful too, because you could find tear out and really take bigger chunks. So you gotta be careful when you're doing it. But the next tool I use for doing rapid removal, it's a little bit less removal than the chisel, is what they call the dragon tooth file. It's a rasp, but it doesn't have as coarse of teeth. I think it cuts better. It's easier to use. It's half round on one side and flat on the other. And what I'll do is use that to really start rough shaping things into the neck, and then I'll clean it up and do my final shapings with a file like this. It has a half round for getting in the throat areas or on the heel there and places that are curved, and then I'll get everything shaped and make sure it feels right, and then of course go with the 80 grit paper and get all my file marks out, and then when it gets down to the finish sanding process, then I'll move up the grits and that. But that's kind of basically in short how you carve a neck. I put the thickness that I wanted back here on the spindle sander also, same way I did it with the peg head, and then you just put a shape into it. So there's many different types of shapes in that, and I don't have all day to go into that, but that's how I shape a neck here at McKee Guitars. Just a few simple tools and a bunch of elbow grease, really. So keep checking back on Facebook and YouTube for the next part of the custom guitar build, and thanks for watching.